Hi everyone, Jay here from JAAD Productions, back with another video, and this video we're going to be discussing our thoughts and opinions on the latest Games Workshop preview, and we're going to be looking at the, what did they call it? They always have funky names for these. The Faith and Damnation preview, which saw some exciting Age of Sigmar news, which of course is what this channel is mostly excited for. I mean, I still love and play 40k, but I haven't done so for quite a while at this point, and I don't really make content regarding 40k for very explicit reasons. Then they cover some Necromunda and some Underworld stuff, which I'm happily excited that I keep predicting the Underworld stuff correctly. Our next one will be Ideneth Deepkin. And the first thing that they decided to show off was indeed the crazy brand new Soulblight, which is what we're going to be discussing first. So, the Soulblight Gravelords, they've been talking about them for, well, they haven't been talking about them for a while. I've been talking about them for a while. I've been angry about them. I've been excited about them. I've been sad for them because I felt like I was just being teased. It's like, here's some new vampires here and here and here. And guys, just give me the vamp. Just tell me it's coming. Tell me it's a thing. Tell me we're not waiting forever for this. And let us know something about this army. And in the end, I was disappointed. Yep. The one thing I've been wanting the entire time, I am disappointed so far. However, this is not to say that this is necessarily bad. Like, take that with a grain of, that's just, maybe I overhyped myself. Because I was expecting something far more Age of Sigmar-like. Something with grand vampire armies of armored skeletal dragons, blood dragon knights right here that we can see, rendered in fine glory, blood dragon on foot, glorious vampire knights and ghoul, like their servants, Vargiles, all sorts of amazing, really cool, new sculpts to expand on the vampire range. What doesn't look like we're getting this. It looks like we're getting Vampire Counts 2.0 as so far. And I want to point out that this is all a so far based on this preview and what's been shown so far. I mean, of course, there is more that they will show us. And so, just focusing on what we've got right now, I'm going to say this. It doesn't blow away my expectations as a Death Army. In fact, I was a little disappointed about it, and that was an initial reaction, but I'm still heavily excited about it because these models look fantastic, and to be honest, I've been waiting for a full Vampire Death Army, and I'm going to reserve judgment as always until I read the Battle Tome, just like with all the dreaded, oh no, the Giants are going to be the Imperial Knights of this system, and, you know, we fucking hate Imperial Knights here at JAAD Productions. I'm reserved judgment. As always, we judge a book based on what's its content, its merit, and the rest of its model range. I mean, if anything, I've learned not to trust Games Workshop because of the terrible release model they've taken with the Lumineth Realm Lords being absolutely fucking retarded with it. Pardon the language. But we have these, and they are phenomenal sculpts, and anyone knows that Blood Dragons are particularly an old-ass model, old-ass metal model, I still believe. They might be in resin these days, in fine cast or fine crap, but suffice to say, looking at these models, these are fantastic. This is what we particularly needed to make this kind of army function. Because currently you can play Soulblight, they're just not the Soulblight Gravelords. The Soulblight exists within the Legions of Nagash book as one of the different options, but they're not a legion. You have your legions of Night, Sacrament, Blood, then you have the Soulblight, you have the Legion of Grief now, which is not in that book, but it's an option, and your Legion of Bone now. So your Soulblight were in there, and you could pick Bloodlines, and it made Blood Dragon's battle line, along with Vargeists. So there was that, and the real trick to running that entire army was trying to scrounge up the models to do it, because the models are just so old-ass and ugly, but these are phenomenal. And that will mean they will probably be much more accessible. We can see here This is probably what you see in the box, what you'll get in the box. The group of 5 of them with their lances. Traditionally, blood knights are like a heavy cavalry that hit really, really hard, super heavily armored. I'm predicting 4-up saves, or 3-up saves maybe even, with those shields. Probably additional effect from the shield with a 4-up save. Easily looking at, if a standard horse and skeleton is 2 wounds, I'm hoping these guys, a standard vampire is like 5 wounds. I'm hoping these things are at least 4 to 5 wounds to be serious as cavalry. At least 3 is needed, but I don't, like, that wouldn't make sense to me. Vampires shouldn't be that squishy, but we will see how they look, because I can't wait to delve into this. These guys do look amazing, and this will make it easier to procure what you need to run a Soulblight army. Very, very, very much so. So, in regards to that, that looks exciting. Now, they did show us skeletons now, so with them march an endless regiment of fleshless soldiers, death rattle skeletons. For those of you who think death rattle is something new, it's not. Death rattle is the term that Age of Sigmar uses for skeletons as part of Games Workshop's copyright-friendly stuff, trying to copyright everything. And now, I will admit, I'm a little disappointed that it was skeletons, but they are nice-looking skeletons, so I won't argue with that. And then zombies as well, or they're called deadwalkers, technically. Again, the fantastic models at the same time. Man, this is stuff that makes me think that this is more of a Legions of Nagash ability. Like, where does Legions of Nagash even fit in at this point? I mean, it's just a soup. But hey, that's fine and dandy. Now, they talk here about we have these new fell bats, which look so amazing. I love these bats. Absolutely love them. So, they tell us that we can find all these war scrolls as per normal within the Soulblight Gravelords, which I absolutely love this. And now, what can we pick up from the Soulblight's Gravelords? Well, we can pick up several things. We have the usual fell bats here. We have zombies with skeletons all on the front cover. We have direwolves right then and there. We have our Vampire Lord, who ironically looks better than the Vampire Lord model, but even then, I'm still a fan of that model. I might just clip the bats off. In the back here, we can see a zombie dragon by the looks, or at least some kind of dragon-like creature with a Vampire Lord on top of it. It's safe to say that anything that's kind of got vampire in its name or involves vampires is probably going into this book. Now, we do know that there is going to be more stuff to come, probably more named vampires and different kinds, because, where is it? Budding Generals won't want to miss it. After all, the Rat Prince, which is a model they showed off recently, I didn't do a video on because I don't like to do videos on just single model things, but the Rat Prince is a named vampire for this army, and he's not the only vampire setting forth in search of victims. So I think we can expect more, and of course there is the fact that everything from the Cursed City can be used as part of the new Soulblight Gravelords, and that's coming out soon as well. Now, personally, I would hope that they would, some of those new sculpts, like, particularly some of the bigger, nastier ones, like, I would really hope that those are not things that, well, I would have liked those to be proper kits. I would like the whole, yes, skeletal ogres is now an option in your army. Sweet, I would love that. Technically it is, but now I have to go buy the Cursed City, and I probably want 5 copies of the Cursed City. Just for Soulblight stuff. Particularly the big-ass monster, the Vargire. So, there's that. And plus the other ones that are on their way to becoming Vargire. The other vampires in there. So there is that. And, sure, it's disappointed me, but I'm still very, very excited for it. I thought we were going to go a little bit more high fantasy Age of Sigmar. There's still a chance we can go that way with what they've shown off. They haven't really shown us a lot for this army. In fact, they've mostly just been teasing us with a whole bunch of other vampire stuff. Hopefully, this all comes together to be something really, really cool. Otherwise, I will just go out in anger and buy Ossiarch Bone Reapers. But suffice to say, it looks like it's leaning towards a much more vampire counts way of doing things. The old Warhammer Fantasy. If you want to play vampire counts, you play vampire counts. If you want Legions of Nagash is for your necromancers and your Mortarchs. This is for, you have a vampire with his horde of skeletons, and his skeleton knights, and his dragon, his blood knights, and on his dragon, and you just go forth and you do vampire things. Classic old school command the legions of undead around your super tough beatstick hero. That's what got me excited. So, next thing, something I really did not expect here was this little video here where we're talking about another Broken Realms. We don't even have our second Broken Realms out yet, and we already have an announcement for 2 more Broken Realms, which really excites me and terrifies me, because the AOS 2.0 core rule set is perfect. There's only one thing that needs minor change, and it can be really easily done with an FAQ, really, and a clarification, a reprint of the core rule pamphlet. Otherwise, this core rule set's perfect. So we have our Broken Realms Marathi, which we've already had, and it was a pretty fun time, pretty good plot, loved it, absolutely. Really, decentish rules, really gave a lot to the Ideneth Deepkin above everything else, funnily enough. It was followed up with 2 superb new battle tomes. Then we've got ourselves Techless, which is going to be like, what the hell? Like, that's already got me pissed, because that's already confirmed to be followed up by more stuff for the Lumineth and their second book, which still a sore point I'm going to be angry at over in every video, I apologize. But then we have Broken Realms Be'lakor, which has got me excited, because that new Be'lakor model is sweet. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Be'lakor. I will take my Ratmen over the other Chaos Powers. Hashtag, the Horned Rat is the true Chaos God. But then we now have this Broken Realms Kraganos, and I'm someone who knows a lot about Warhammer Fantasy lore and a lot about Warhammer Age of Sigmar lore, and I have no idea on this one. And I can gather 2 things from it. If we just go back and we look at this, we can see this figure is obviously a centaur, and this speaks to me either in 2 things. Now, we've seen centaurs in Age of Sigmar appear in 2 different formats. One is the Kurnothi. And the Kurnothi are a race of, like, elven, bestial hunters that were created and worshipped the god of the hunt, Kurnoth. And unfortunately, from what I've read, he basically died in the Age of Chaos, unfortunately, and the Kurnothi homeland was shattered, and they were basically just wandering all around everywhere. Now, they do have a centaur in their thing, and that would be really cool. The name of this Broken Realm throws me off that idea. The only other place we see centaurs is in the Beasts of Chaos, and I am not sure if they are still called the Beasts of Chaos. So there is one of those things that really is interesting to me. Let's see, if we go into here, Age of Sigmar, and we find, because the Beasts of Chaos, I'll admit, is a blank spot in my lore. They're a particularly interesting faction of primordial sort of chaos, but they're definitely one of the most underplayed and underrepresented factions, simply because they're terrible by design, and that's part of the fun of playing and using them, and that they are terrible by design. And it's even more sweeter, and they don't fight. They purely play the objectives, and it's good fun. Now, you see, they're called Centaurs, and we go back and we look at these, right? And the reason why I'm not sure I'm sold on these being in any way related is, 1, they're called Centaurs. 2, we do see this here, right? We see the horns, we see the layout, we see this, and we look at this. Very sort of similar-ish, but at the same time, if we go over to our boxed games, and we go to Diachasm, and we go to Underworlds, we go to Warbands for Underworlds, we kind of look through here, where are we? Nope, that's apparently just... why is that just these ones? Where are my other Underworlds ones? Come on. Damn, okay. They'll be around here in Grand Alliance Order, and we go to Sylvaneth, because this is what the Knothi currently fall under. If they're not here, I have no idea where they've been moved to on this damn store. Okay, sure, why not? Let's find them. Okay, so if we look at the Skaith's Wild Hunt, so this is what we've got here, this particular one. This centaur looking guy here is their leader of it. Now, the way the horns are shaped, I've been more convinced, but the name of this throws me off, Kragnos, and the reference to the mountain. So I'm excited to see what this one is. This one is the huge surprise of the thing for me. Now, as I predicted successfully on my Discord, just a few weeks ago, yeah, we got Ossiarch Bone Reapers now. It's pretty cool. I see an Ossiarch with a bow, and here I am hoping, geez, I hope the Ossiarchs get the Lumineth treatment, because Age of Sigmar is one of those things where there will reach a point where we can stop adding factions, and a point where we can start expanding factions. And the one thing I dislike about some of the ways they're currently moving Age of Sigmar forward is I love new factions. They really flesh out the world, really provide a lot of stuff, a lot of variety, so many good books and armies and interesting concepts. But, especially as they slowly weave out the old stuff and make in the new stuff and really update the model line, I look at this and I go, by the way, that guy is huge. I see this guy in the background with the bow, and I was like, cool, you know what the Ossiarchs really need? Something that's not Mortek Guard. But, there is that. And, this is another thing. Our next one is very clearly Lumineth. It's a fish. But very, very cool. Why is he... I think he's from the Null Myriad. Yeah. Now, I'm not a huge Necromunda follower as we move through the preview, but I'll cover all of this stuff. This is stuff that I was less excited for, even though 2 of the 3 40k reveals directly affect me and my 40k armies. But suffice to say, I will gladly play Age of Sigmar over 40k at this point in time, especially with 9th edition being in the shambles shit state it is. But we have Necromunda, which is a game I really, really want to get into, and I absolutely adore this. And this is the House of Faith, so this is Cawdor. So they're super what I'm interested in, actually, because I love that whole fanatic thing. And we've got a whole bunch of new shit for House Cawdor here, with the Redeemers and really, really cool looking models. I love it. This guy's actually got my hairstyle. I do love the Necromunda stuff, and I'm super excited for the first-person shooter that's coming out for it. I just wish I had someone to play Necromunda with, so I could justify getting into it. This looks like a nice, easier getting starting box for getting into the game. A lot of the Necromunda stuff tends to be really, really expensive and pricey, so there is that. The fact that this one comes with proper walls, I particularly like, but it's, again, not that large, but you don't need it to be. It gives you kind of the stuff you need, and as they release more and more of these house books, it makes it much easier to get into. So now that that's there, that's really something for me to consider. Now, then we have this. So, we have this, I didn't even catch what they called it. Skitarii Marshal. So, it's not even a Skitarii, sure, whatever, Games Workshop, don't, just ignore the Horus Heresy, it doesn't exist. By the way, Forge World, when am I getting my Horus Heresy shit, if you're listening? I want my Thanatar. So, there's this guy, he looks like he's got a radium pistol, probably a radium pistol that's, like, artificed with, like, extra AP and 2 damage, I don't care. You're not bringing this guy in AdMech for anything to do with his combat capability. I mean, he's got a damn command staves, like, sure, that'll probably be +2 strength, probably AP -1, 2 damage, sure, whatever, beat stick. I care more about the fact that he can potentially be a cheap thing for the AdMech to include in their HQs, because HQ diversity is something that you don't miss until you don't have it. Because it's got to be one of those things of every time I've taken my AdMech to a tournament, it's been like, cool, I have engine seers, I have engine seers, and I have engine seers. Oh, and I have my Tech Priest Dominus. So sometimes it'll be, cool, I have my Tech Priest Dominus, I have my Tech Priest Dominus, and I have an engine seer. In that kind of configuration. So the real sort of, anything that really helps out their HQ section, because it sucks when, you know, you have an army that only has, you know, 3 HQ options currently, not including the one named character. I don't mean to shit on the AdMech whatsoever. They're actually really good, and I love them. I still doubt they're, you know, I really love them, but I'm going to save any talks of competitive 40k in my experiences at tournament scenes well away from this, since I haven't had an opportunity to play in approximately 12 months now. But still, Adeptus Mechanicus Codex, I'm super excited about that. Personally, I hate this front cover, just like I hate the Drukhari one, and just how T hates the Drukhari one, but hey, sure. At least all the shit is going to be in one place now, and I will actually buy it. Then, this is something that, me and T certainly discussed in depth after the preview was done. So this is a battle. Because Primaris are a thing, and Primaris are eliminating everything that is Firstborn over eventually, and you will see them disappear over 10th and 11th edition. So we've decided as GW to basically recycle the old models, just with some new tidbits you can touch onto them and some slightly new details, just so we're not wasting assets and produce something really cheap. So we give you an Adeptus Sororitas Predator. They are just female Space Marines now. So here you go. Here's a Predator with a battle cannon and optional twin autocannon. Is it good? We'll find out. Don't particularly care. It's a Predator. We know what Predators are like. It's nothing to be super excited about. This was the thing that confused the shit out of me, and I did not expect as an Orc player, and now I'm completely rethinking about how my Orc collection needs to grow. So there is this, and it's talking about the Beast Snaggers, which seem, well, feral Orcs. We're getting feral Orcs for 40k, which is hilarious to me, even though this looks like it's something out of, Age of Sigmar, and I would have liked to have seen, like, this in Age of Sigmar instead. I can't help but love this idea and the expansion upon the feral Orcs. By the way, if you haven't seen this video, I highly suggest you watch it. It's pretty funny. But we can see here a rendition, an Orc artist rendition of the new war boss that they're gonna give us, this big boss. We've seen this model previewed and teased to us in some of their announcements. I reckon Orcs will be a faction that come around pretty soon, otherwise they wouldn't be showing this to us in general. So that'll give us a brand new model that's proper right and fighty and proper sized. So we can kind of tell from that what that model's going to look like. You know, it's going to be a big boss with a Gretchen on top, with a gun, with a shooter, and a lovely big chopper. So yeah, top of that, we go along here, we keep going, killer cans, which are always my personal favorite unit. And then the video reveals to us as we go along here, as the Orcs decide to kill each other and start narrating, we can see these squig dog riders, which we have further previewed down here, which look like a... I have no what the hell to say that is. I can only think of something out of Star Wars. Particularly my mind goes to Star Wars Legion for some reason, and A New Hope with the guys who ride the lizards. But we can see here these guys, feral Orcs, riding some cybridized mounted squigs, clearly a boss there with like a claw, and Gretchen riding behind. We have this here, some kind of character of some sort. Like, these all have meaning, otherwise they wouldn't be showing these to us in specific. This looks like some kind of... This guy looks heavily cybernized. Like, lots and lots of body parts replaced. Cybernetic legs, claw arm. We got a squig there hanging from there. I wouldn't be surprised if he's some sort of new support character for them specifically, though he does kind of remind me of a doc. Maybe he's like a chef. I don't know. Then we've got this, which is pretty amusing to me. This is, like, we've got more of these squig things pulling aside this, sled slash, I don't know, chariot? Hard to say based off the rest of it, but I want to say sled chariot, which looks like it's got cannons and rockets, which looks bloody hilarious. So that could be really, really fun. I'm super psyched for that. We've got some guy here riding a squig, like full-on riding a squig. We have another example of a feral orcish to an extent, and then we have this guy, which is clearly our feral orc big boss, who seems to have a squig operating a gun up there, and that's pretty hilarious to me. And then once we get through this video, we show us right here all of these different things, which make me think that these are all new different things that we are getting. So we are probably getting all of this that you see here, probably not these orc boys, unless there's something different about those orc boys that I failed to pick up before. But suffice to say, it looks like we're getting squig riders, a whole emphasis. We're getting like these squig dog cavalry, some boys on giants on squigs, which I love squigs, so I'm all for that. Like a feral big boss, we got ourselves a squig sled, so that's awesome. And these, like, I want to point out that this boy here just looks amazing. As someone, and same with this Gretchen, as someone who's recently been painting 200 boys and Gretchen combined, this looks good. This looks like a better sculpt than what I have been painting. But again, this model just looks very amazing in general. So I'm super excited for it. And that was the preview. So overall, I'm going to keep my thoughts mostly constrained not to the 40k stuff, because the 40k stuff to me is like, yay, add mecha next, cool, Sisters get a Predator because Primaris decided to extinct Firstborn, and then Feral Orcs, which has me super excited. But I'm not going to talk about Necromunda because I don't know Necromunda from shit. The vampires, actually before talking about vampires, Kragnos, which is really exciting to me. I really look forward to that. Could that be heralding a new faction? Another new faction? Is this an opportunity to kind of... Are we moving into Age of Sigmar 2.5? Definitely. Are we going to move into a 3rd edition Age of Sigmar? Probably, but I don't expect a rules change. Simply because, again, Age of Sigmar 2.0 core rules are perfect. 99% perfect rule set. It's the battle tomes that require adjusting around the rule set, and it's the battle tomes where Age of Sigmar focuses its stuff. It's like, it doesn't need a new edition all the time. It's its battle tomes that need to be updated and changed. So as we move into that, could we see a new core release box? Are we going to see the end of the Soul Wars narrative, moving into a new narrative? Probably the War for Azir, as Archaon is breaking down the barrier in the Gate of Azir to the Realm of Heavens. So there is that. I reckon we're moving into that, and especially as the Chaos have developed new weapons in order to be able to permanently capture and kill Stormcast, which is something that we're definitely going to be exploring in Bellacorn. I mark my words, because it was already there in Marathi. Suffice to say, that's cool. And then the Soulblight Gravelords, I'm not going to argue with a new Death one. I'm hoping personally, though, that this is that Kragnos introduces another Destruction army. Because Destruction, I think, needs more variety and more fleshing out, personally, overall. Same with Death. Now, so there is that. And so while this army, like, their sculpts are amazing, they're not what I thought we were going to get. I thought we were going to get something slightly more Age of Sigmar high fantasy. But I can't argue with this. It looks like classic vampire counts, smells like classic vampire counts, and it has amazing models. I mean, look at these bats. Look at these look at these COVID-causing little bastards. They're amazing. Yes, I just said that. It was a joke. Please, don't start anything. So yeah, I'm super excited about this in particular, and I'll be certainly hanging out to report more on this as we go forward. And that was the main things out of this preview, essentially. So that's really about it. And of course, there is coming this particular week, or when this was recorded, the Drukhari, which I hate this art. This is absolutely just T absolutely hates it. The combat patrols are great. I think they're like the old battle forces, except ludicrously expensive. These Drukhari dice are I didn't even see these. And then there's this box, which is completely and utterly just a complete fucking waste of time, to be honest. I completely think it is more of Games Workshop's doing its stupidity thing that it loves to do. And, you know, this is, sure, fine. Let's give everything a pistol-wielding lieutenant. And then this, probably the... I'm sorry, if you've seen my previous video about how much I dislike this model, please refer to that. I'm not going to go into that here. But, hey, you know, Book of Rust as well, which, funny how this gives a supplemental codex to a codex that doesn't even exist yet, since we've seen inside its, in a preview, it contains rules for Metallica supplement, even though we don't have AdMech rules yet, so be invalidated instantly, probably. Unless they future-proofed it, but I seem to doubt Games Workshop's competency these days when it comes to future-proofing things, thanks to Lumineth. So, that is it for our video. Thank you for listening and joining my rambles. I'd love to hear what your thoughts and views and opinions are and what you're excited for, what you think of all these things. Even if it's the 40k related stuff, I would prefer to discuss Age of Sigmar, but I'll talk about anything Warhammer. So, leave your thoughts and views and opinions down below in the comments. And I'll talk to you all next time. I have been Jay from JAAD Productions.